And we are live. Gunners of Africa, you are welcome to the show. And I'm here with Melphis. Melphis, how you doing?
Yeah, good day, Ash. Nice to be with you on the show.
You're
Nice to
welcome
be
to the
with you. How you doing?
show. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
That's
So
good to know.
yeah, hope you're good too.
Yeah, sure, I'm good. At least
So you're welcome. So you're
um,
so you're welcome. You're welcome to the show wherever you're watching from, YouTube or Facebook. You are welcome to the show. It was actually a tight one between Sporting CP and Arsenal. That was actually a tight game. A, a tight game. I don't know if I should say we expected it or we didn't expect it, but it was a tight.
we expected it actually.
You expected it.
We expected it.
Well, it was actually a tight game. It was a tight one actually, and I feel like at some point I was like, man, this game is becoming very difficult, and I feel like
You
I
know,
feel like I feel like there was a disconnect today in the team. We were too slow. Which in the first half I was like, well, these days we know they always enjoy our first half for games. I felt like we don't always have these good performances in first half, and I was like, in the second half we will come out and do the usual like we've always done in recent games. But in the second half, man, after we equalized and made it 2-2, man,
you
and
know
then
that.
Martinelli missed that chance to actually go to make it 3-2. I don't know. We didn't really play much in the second half. For me though, we were not our usual self today because Saka was not really in the game. I don't know what you feel about the game, Melphis.
You know, general as a team, it's a national team. There are several things we were enjoying in the first half of the season that we are not enjoying right now. It's not just about the first half intensity, where we get to kill games in the first 30 minutes. It's also the the full time the fitness of these players. Fatigue is beginning to set in. You understand me? And also we are beginning to concede so much from set pieces, which was something that was very hard for opposition teams to break. But nevertheless, it's still a good game. Sporting away, like I said it, I'm not surprised. I said it from the beginning that there's a lot to be played for in the second leg. You understand? Because I knew this is how it was going to be. And to be very honest, today we didn't deserve to win. We just that the quality is there, and we were able to just take our chances. You understand? The team came out slow, looking tired, looking sloppy. I think the sub helped Tomiyasu, bright bright coming off the bench. You understand? So I just feel like the rotation affected the game too. Um, Nevertheless, it was a good game. At least we came out with a 2-2. It's not easy. Sporting is a very composed side as well too. So it's a good one from the Arsenal team at least to come out with a draw in that game. Because I believe Sporting were very clinical. They missed quite a lot of chances too. I believe they are very clinical. They should have been on the front foot coming off that game.
We were lucky to actually come out of this game with a draw.
Yes, they missed chances. Like I said, they missed chances from the first half. You see Goncalves, which is their most dangerous player, he missed a chance. You understand?
Fantastic.
And Paulinho as well in the second half. Paulinho, the guy who actually got them 2-1 up. He was supposed to seal the game at that moment, and he missed the chance. You understand? So just one of those things. But I won't blame it on the rotation. We needed to rotate. We can't play 1-11 for the whole Europa League campaign or Premier League campaign when we have a game on Sunday. So we needed to rotate. At least Arteta has been able to see Kyrgios make his debut. He has been able to see some weakness and stuff like that. So it's good at least. It's good for the team. Next
But when
week,
you
we
when
want, we
you
want to
talk
go fight and
when
qualify.
you talk about, when you talk about rotation, we needed to rotate. To me, I feel like Okay, if you want to take away players who are not in the squad today, I think you're talking about Kiwo, you're talking about Gabriel Magalhaes, who did not start. Um, who else do you want to point to?
I think if not for that, I think Odegaard was
Odegaard.
unwell.
Odegaard.
Odegaard was Odegaard was unwell. If not, he should have been starting that game because I don't know what Fabio Vieira is doing. I don't understand honestly.
So
But nevertheless,
if you're talking about rotation, I think it was just two players who were not available, who didn't start the game. Odegaard was not available. Kiwo came in for Gabriel Magalhaes. Other than that, we had every other person on the pitch.
yeah, Nelson is also a rotation. You understand because this is his first start since he had an injury. You understand. So I believe that if not for that Rose had left off injured, we should have been calling Nelson a rotation actually. You understand, but I'm not here to point fingers on anyone. The club try. You understand, the club try is not easy. And when you rotate these players, this is not something that the Arsenal squad are used to every week. Unlike the Man City squad, that even if they rotate, they are used to seeing themselves play. If Akanji comes tomorrow and pairs with Diaz, he knows what he's expecting. If he also pairs with Stones, he knows what he's expecting. But you can see Saliba has, I don't think he has played any competitive game with Kiwior before. So this is just a game, more like an experimentative game for them to get to understand themselves better. So I think that affected the game a bit, but nothing spoiled actually. Nothing spoiled. We still have a lot to play in London, so nothing spoiled. At least we came out with a game that on a very bad day for us. We had to lose that game, but at least we came out with a 2-2 draw. So imagine if away goals was still a thing, we would have been on advantage by now. So positive, all positive going into the second leg next week.
What 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 do you make of Kiwo's performance today?
A great performance, nothing bad,
Rate
nothing
him.
bad at all. Yeah, I've, for his debut, coming into an Arsenal team that is superb and flying, I'll give him a 6/10. I'll give him a 6/10. But when Gabriel came in, we all spotted the difference. More solidity at the back, more well weighted passes. You understand? Pushing of the ball, excellent. So I don't expect him to come and outclass Gabriel in this Arsenal squad. You understand? Because Great Gabriel knows the rudiments and the basics and what it takes to be in this squad. So it's good at least he had his debut and had the chance to represent us.
I'll actually give him a 4. I know I'm I know I'm being too harsh with that, but I'll actually give him a 4 because um I believe that being on the bench for so long. I think he came January and this is March. I believe that being on the bench for so long, he has had enough time to actually understand what's that role which is going to play. And today's game, I know that today's game is actually a tough one, and in the first half we struggled, especially in that wing with the Zinchenko actually going into joining the midfield. You could see that Edward had a lot of space to run into in that first half, and I felt like he wasn't doing enough. Even in the goal, the first goal, the equalizing goal. I think he was the one standing next to the player,
Yeah,
and he was
it's, it's,
actually
it's normal with this. It's normal with these boys. You understand?
yeah.
It's normal with this. That is why there's something they call cameo in football. You understand? You don't just bring in a new player. It's not like he spent preseason with you. No, you understand? He came in January. In January, there's no time to integrate this stuff in these boys. That's why you can see that the boys are shining for us. These boys are already Premier League proven. This player is not Premier League proven. We're not expecting much from the player. You understand me? And I don't know if you agree with me when Gabriel first came to Arsenal, the way he played then and the way he's playing now is different. He has more defensive awareness. His passing now is better than when he first came. You understand? So I'm not expecting instant impact from Kirill. You understand? But I believe that if he had been given a cameo, first of all, before his first full debut, I believe that we would have seen a better performance today. You understand? Because I is the debut game for you as a defender, I think is much more harder because you have much more tasks to stay and defend. And it's even much more harder because Arteta fancies a ball playing defender, a ball keeping defender, whether it be it header or not header. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. So he did the basic things. I won't blame the corner kick from him. You understand? So it's just one of those things, you know. But
But but
if you give
but
him
honestly,
if you give him
I
a four,
honestly feel six is too much for what I saw today. Six is six is saying, yeah, you had a decent game.
if
That's what
if
six
you
is
give
like.
him if you give him six, then what will you give to the other players?
That's what
Because
I'm saying. There are some players who deserve six ahead of him in this game today. So if you're giving him who didn't really have a superb game six, it simply means other players who had a good game ahead of him, you'll be giving them like eight. When I know that that team today, nobody deserves eight.
nobody deserves it. But Saliba was cool on the ball though. He did well from back. Martinelli, I don't even know. I don't that miss. It was a good run, but I think sometimes Martinelli gets too choked in the middle. He's packed in the middle. I believe the rotation he does with Trossard gets to get the better of him more than being static at the middle because it gets they get to choke him up and isolate him at that middle. That's why I feel for Martinelli. That's why I feel for Martinelli. So and it was a
So,
good game.
so I actually want you to give me your rating for each player.
Turner was shaky today. Turner, I think Turner vomiting the ball led to the second goal. Um, the rebound from PAULINHO. Saliba, I'll give Saliba a six as well too. I'll give Saliba a six. I'll give Kiwa a six. You understand? Because I'll be harsh on Saliba. Saliba has been running this stuff. He has been in this club since the beginning of the season. Kiwa just came, so I'll give him a six as well too. Ben White, I'll give Ben White a four. I'll give Ben White a four. Some sloppy crosses here and there. It was killing the play seriously. Not what we wanted. Um, Zinchenko, I'll give him a five. He helped in maintaining the fluidity of the game, keeping the ball, did his inverted role pretty much well. So I'll give him that figure. Jorginho, not so in the game. I think when Party came in the game, we were able to control the game much more better. I'll give Jorginho a three. Nelson tried. At least he was able to run the flank really well, doing the basic things a winger could do. So I'll just give Nelson a four. I'll give Nelson a four. Um, Martinelli, don't know. I'll give him a three. I'll give Martinelli Saka. I'll give Saka. In the second half, he had a better performance, but shooting straight to the goalkeeper here and there. But in the first half, he was completely isolated. And Saka, I'll be harsh on Saka though, but I'll give him a four. I'll give him a four. He tried to create stuff, but the whole world knows Saka now. The whole world wants to double up on him. The whole world, sometimes as a player, it's very, very, it's very, very frustrating for the whole world to know you as a star boy. And he's a star boy, so they must have been watching his clips throughout the week. So I'll give him a four. I think Smith Rowe three. Give Smith Rowe a three. Thomas Partey, I'll give him a five. Um, I think I think that's it for me. Tomiyasu, I'll
Nelson.
give Tomiyasu a five.
Nelson.
Yeah, I said I'll give him a four, something like that.
Four.
Yeah, so you can see the thing we are just too sloppy today. You know, in our preview game, I told you that um, approaching cup games and league games are quite different. I think we approach this game as a regular some weekend game, premiership game. We approached it, and it's not supposed to be so. I believe in the second leg we get to rectify our mistakes and know how to approach a cup game pretty much better.
On my own side, I feel like if you had to pick a bright spark from what we saw today, who would you pick?
If I'm to pick a bright spark from what I saw today, man, when Tomiyasu came in, Tomiyasu was superb.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu was superb. Um, uh, I think to a point, Zinchenko to a point. Saliba was okay as well too. So, but I rate Tomiyasu's performance very very cool because he's beginning to change some aspect of his game. I think he's beginning to go more forward as a fullback. You understand? Especially playing at the left part of the fullback system this time around. He was striving so good today. So actually he came and played with his mind. He played with his heart. You understand? So I know Tomiyasu caught my eye today. Nelson to a point as well too, but they no gree my guy do magic today. You no gree my guy do the magic.
Earlier today, you did a smile where though for the pre-match for the preview show. You were really
Yeah.
really smiling and then pumped up. But right now, you just did so calm. You be like, what you see
No,
from sports shock you.
no. I nothing shocked me at all. Nothing shocked me at all. Nothing shocked me. Whenever it's match day, I always smile. I always want to see my Arsenal play. You understand? I always want to see my Arsenal play. I was coming back from that kind of victory. You know, go smile. Everybody wants to smile because seeing this team play, like Arturo will say, you can't just wait for every weekend to watch Arsenal play. You understand? So I feel all pumped up, and I'm also feeling pumped up. Those are just it's the middle of the night, and but you can't expect me to have the same vibes with the vibes I had in the evening. But I also feel pumped up going to Craven Cottage on Sunday against Fulham.
I feel like going to the Emirates. We need to approach that game with caution because, like I said earlier, I said this is a test for Mikel Arteta. This Europa League is a test for him because going back to when we got eliminated, I think by Olympiacos and Benfica, right? Back,
Yes.
we could say okay, he didn't have his team. He didn't have his team then. He was still building his team, but right now he has his team, his own team. So I think right now is a test for him, and if we crash out of this competition in this time, what do you think the narrative will be? It will no longer be he didn't have his team because then that was it. He didn't have his team. So what do you think the narrative will be if we crash out of this competition?
Um, I think I think if we crash out of this competition, which I don't see it coming, I believe we will be crushing Sporting. I believe because I so much believe on that. Why I believe on that is because I watched the game closely today. Deep in myself, I analyzed the game and I saw that Sporting were scared right from the start. We were pushing Sporting, but when Sporting began to realize that we are not taking chances, we are not trying to play the ball in between the lines so effective enough, and that's when they began to come out. And also after the Saliba goal, they had to come out. You understand? And when they tested us, they saw that our defense opens more. You know, in football, when you give your opponent mind to come at you, and they've tried and they keep trying, it gives them more confidence to come. Plus, they are at home. You understand? And you know how the Emirates
Yeah,
Stadium can be electric. You know how the Emirates Stadium can be for every home game, especially now when Arsenal is now Arsenal. When the mentality of the club is now striving, everything, the exposure of the club is going bigger. The players are playing well. We have a very good coach. So I believe we will crush them at the Emirates. But on the other hand, if there has to be an upset, I don't think this time around to strike hard because the team has been brilliant all season. You understand? The team has been brilliant all season, and there's another one. There's another show on the road to go, which is the Premier League. So I don't think the pressure will be much on the Gunners if they get to. I think the board looking in their hearts will be like, oh, let's forgo the Europa League and focus more on the Premier League. I even think Man City seeing that they will be crying blood because they know that okay,
So
nobody is injured now, everybody's back and we are focusing
so
full on the Premier
so
League.
are you feeling the Europa League is a distraction?
It's not a distraction. Every competition is there to be won. Why are you competing? But it's not a distraction. But me, I prefer if you keep the two, I'll collect the Premier League. Like I said in our previous show, the Premier League is a double combo. Europa League, if you win Europa League, they can't call you the champion of Europe. But if you win the Premier League, you will have the bragging rights to be the champion of England, not just Premier League champion. You'll be the king of the land, and you also have your Champions League spot. You understand? So that's why I've always wanted to put the Premier League at the forefront. But if you can win the Europa League, why not? Come on. You want to win two trophies at the beginning, at the end of the day. It's also a booster for the morale of the players and financially for the club.
But I feel like the Europa League is a very difficult competition. You can't predict this competition. On paper it looks like, oh, it's just Arsenal, Manchester United. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like on paper. But on the other side, this competition is known for upsets. Like, yeah, I don't know if you this competition is known for upsets.
Yes.
We know that this is a competition that you can't predict. And then going forward, I feel like if we crash out of the competition, no problem. Is the Europa League. In as much as we really want, in as much as we really want an European title, if we don't get it, no problem. I would, like I've always said, the Premier League is the priority. Is the
Yes.
priority.
Yes.
At some point, I saw the way the players were playing today, especially in the second half, and I said to myself, well, it's obvious the Premier League is the priority. It
Yes.
was
And
obvious.
apart from the Premier League being the priority, there is an popular opinion though. It's just a own opinion. I'm not seeing in my mind. I am feeling like Ateta has not really figured out how to approach cup games ever since our FA Cup win. He hasn't really figured out how to approach cup games. Because approaching cup games, like I said, and league games is way way different. You understand? There's a way in which you can approach a cup game. That's why at the end of the day you see that it's not the best teams in that particular Champions League campaign that wins Champions League. Sometimes it's the weaker teams, just like how we played Man City now at the FA Cup. We beat them. It's not the same as the league. You understand? And this is the same reason why we lost to Olympiacos and we lost to Villarreal. It's not like these teams are better
Mm.
than us. Even as at then, we had players. We had more players than these teams. You understand? But it's the approach to cup games that mattered in the end. And I believe that's the same thing. That's the same thing with what happened last night. You understand? Looking at the sporting team, they didn't play much. This is a team that if they put in the same performance in the Premier League, they should be going to kneel down. You understand? But the approach to these games, and I'm sorry to say, I called for rotation, but I believe that this is not the time. Like I said in our pre-game show, this is not the time for too much rotation. Like you can see Manchester United, they didn't rotate much because they wanted to try to kill the game at Old Trafford and probably go to Real Betis next week and just pack the balls and see the game off.
And
So
then rotate.
yes, you can then rotate them, but this is not the time actually. You understand? But you have no choice because some of the players there like Kiwior, there may be a time in the upcoming games where you will need him, so you just have to give him a debut and stuff. So, but it's all good. But I don't want to see us rotating in London next week. I don't want to see us rotating in London. At least for the first half. If probably we can be able to kill the game before the first half runs out, fine. You can give some players game time, but definitely want to see the full squad so we can be able to kill Sporting, demolish them, and bury them.
Well, definitely. I think the second leg is next week.
Yeah, it's next week.
So if we have Gabriel Jesus, Martin Odegaard, and probably I know if they are available and fit, they would actually start. Definitely, they'll start, and definitely bring Gabriel Magalhaes back to the starting side for that game. And I think we are good. I feel we are good.
I don't think we need Gabriel Jesus to beat Sporting at the Emirates Stadium. It's better they just stick to their plan of was he in the bench today?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in the squad.
Okay, I don't think actually, sincerely speaking, I don't think we need him to beat Sporting at the Emirates Stadium. But if you can be at the bench just in case of any emergency, it's good. But I don't think with this quality we have in the squad now, we are far better than Sporting. Far, far, far better.
So what do you think Sporting did right today?
Took their chances. They took their chances and they ran behind our defenders a lot. They took their just some individual brilliance from Edwards, Paulinho, Goncalves, which is something. It's not something too eye catchy, but it's just the basic things. Like I said, it's one of it's one of our loopholes for the past few months now. Slight leaky defenses, um, um, converting set pieces, just like other teams have done in the past, like the Monmouth, the Everton and stuff. So it's just the basic stuff, not something too too spectacular or stuff. But they took their chances quite well.
Okay, I feel like whenever they had the ball, they were direct.
Yes.
They didn't see much of the ball, but when they had the ball, they were direct. Like they were not actually passing the ball from one side of the pitch to another. They were always direct. They had the plan, just attack. And I felt like in the second half we were building momentum, though. And then they took the game from us again. At that
Yes,
point, I
I
was
thought with Shaka. I think
yeah.
Shaka will have my highest grading in the team. Shaka. Shaka tried so much. He tried so much.
And then they took the game from us again, and I was like, I felt at that point in time when we took the game from them, it was more like, okay, we've actually gained control. But then they took the game back again. At that point in time, that was when Poliha missed that one-on-one he had,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Of
these
course,
guys,
they are the home team. They are the home team, so
and I was like, these guys actually have actually done something right today, and I feel like I saw the same thing with Bournemouth. They didn't have a lot. They didn't have a lot of the ball, but whenever they had the ball, they were direct, just attack.
yeah.
And I saw the same thing from Sporting today. Like you said, Edward and Concavez, they actually did some nice runs. They actually did some
If
nice runs.
if they were clinical, we should have lost that game tonight. I said it in the beginning of the show. If they were very clinical, even in our previous game, you could see that anytime Bournemouth went forward, it looked like a goal was very clear. So I believe we should work on that and we'll be fine. I believe we should work. Although this period now, from now to the end of the season, we don't have time again to work on certain things. Um, Unlike January period where we played one game a week. Now there are games in between now, so I think players should just find their momentum somehow. It's not the time to start working on just set pieces. So I believe that we should just minimize the way we since now set pieces is becoming the threat to us. We should minimize the way we give our corners, the way make silly tackles close to the 18-yard boxes to avoid set pieces that will hurt us. So that's just it.
We are beginning to consider this is like no man business.
I think
Yeah,
I think it's just that time of the season. I think it's just due to tiredness or tired. You know what to do, but you're just tired. You're just tired, and stuff is normal in football. These things happen. These things happen. So, well, you just now you're able to prevent the goal from going in. Now you can't seem to prevent the goal from going in anymore. So you have to prevent causing what to cause the goal to come in.
but
So I
see,
think
do you think the Europa League will affect the pursuit of the Premier League title?
yes, yes. In the previous show, I was talking about the number of games. You understand me? People say,
Yeah.
"Hey, oh, it's 13 games remaining. 13 games, you can keep winning." But technically, it's up to about 17 games. Now, those 17 games, now you're playing those 17 games in between each other. It's not like you play the 13 games, win the league. No, you're playing those 13 games in between each other. Okay, now in our previous game, we had we had Trossard going out injured. We had Trossard going out injured, which is an impact of the previous game. Am I being honest here? Now, God forbid, now you play Fulham on Sunday, and you're
Yeah.
going back again, which I know that Ateta will not want to rotate much after what he has seen today. You're going back again to play. Um, you're going back again to play these guys. What they call them? Sporting again on Thursday. You understand me? But I
Yeah.
feel the only positivity in this Europa League fixtures is that Man City will always play before us. You understand? So the pressure now will be on City, not us. We have to just get to sit back and see City's results on a Saturday, and then we play our game. You understand? The only thing here is I thank God that we have much more players than we did last year. Last year we were short of players, short of experience now, but now we have much more experience and much more players that can play multiple positions. So it affects, yes, but I'm fully confident we can scale through.
I don't know why it sounds what I'm about to say sounds weird. I don't know if coming from an Arsenal fan, I don't see us winning the Europa League. I'm just being honest. I don't
Why
see
why don't
us.
you, why don't you see us winning the Europa League?
I just feel like I okay. I don't want to use this as a yardstick, but in this time of the season, we've already started the journey, and we know the journey, the Premier League title, which is the most important. And I know that when these players approach these two different competitions, you will see the difference in the way they play. It will always be vivid. These players will always have the Premier League at the back of their hearts, approaching every Europa League game. Which today I saw it and I was like, especially from Bukayo Saka, I was like, well, he has the Premier League at the back of his mind. Me and you know that no matter how bad of a game Bukayo Saka has, he can never have this kind of game in the Premier League. Bukayo Saka will not be this way in the Premier League. And then I
Against
feel like
against against Bournemouth, how was his performance against Bournemouth?
against
It's not something
Bournemouth,
similar to today.
no, against Bournemouth in the second half, it was better than this. Bournemouth in the second half,
You see,
Bournemouth
because
Saka
because because Saka is
look
not a player that we should be talking this
talking
kind of
about
stuff about because
talking about Saka, for talking about Saka, when I say we don't have a good first half as a team, it's the general team. Everybody, we all know that from the Everton game till Bournemouth game, our first half is always a certain type of way, and it's everybody. Even against Bournemouth, it was everybody. We just see in first half we just have much of the ball. We pass, but we don't do anything with the ball. Same thing with the Bournemouth game, and then in the second half, everybody actually turned up
well,
against Bournemouth. But
you're
today,
you're making a point here. You're making a point here, but I won't I won't I won't be conclusive right now because I will only talk about this when we've played the second leg. Because I'll just assume that It's an away game. We needed to rotate players. So players were feeling unwell, and of course, when you rotate players, just like a
This
team like us,
this is
you
the
don't get
point
the full pass.
this is the point I'm trying to make. You will need to rotate players. You will need to bring in these other players, which over time we've seen that they've been given the opportunity, but they've not been able to live up to that standard. So that's the same reason I'm telling you that looking at these two competitions, you need to risk one for one. You understand?
But you,
Let me say in a
but
week
you,
where you're playing. Let me say, for example, I don't know if there's any time like that. I don't know if such will happen this week. Let me say in a week where you have a tough game in the Europa League, and during the weekend you have a team like Liverpool. What would you do?
the thing is you don't trust Arsenal fully.
I don't trust some certain players. I don't
No,
trust players.
you know,
Today, in this game, I was crying for Odegaard. I was crying for Odegaard. Like I was crying for Odegaard. I was like,
you had
Odegaard.
spaces,
Yeah, we had
Odegaard
space.
to prime.
You understand? We had spaces, and respect to Fabio Vieira for what he did today, but there's a but.
The
There's
boss
a
is so
but.
large. It's
You
enormous.
understand? Yeah, it's enormous. Mikel Arteta.
It's enormous. But calling Saka on this, the boy has tried. The boy is not being rotated at all.
That's another point. That's another point.
He's
Now,
not being rotated. To me, he's trying his best. It's not easy. Even
the
machines, when you overuse them,
yeah,
one day they'll tell you that more rest more. You understand? The boy, I was pitying the boy today. It's only normal to feel that way. It's normal. In life we all have priorities in life. Him now will be like, I have a full game at Craven Cottage on Sunday. Why do I need to stress myself here on this when I know that I will still be the one to play that game? That's why when you call that Bukayo Saka, I was not really in terms with it. Although what you're saying, there's a big point in it, but I was not really in terms with it because the boy is not being rotated. You understand? And when Ateta is calling the team lineup for Fulham's game, it will be the first name on the list. You understand? So it's normal. The club has set its priorities. Like I told you earlier, I told you that if they crash out of the Europa League, the club will even be happy. At this point, we winning your first league title in how many years since 2004.
yeah.
I believe the club will be happy. I don't feel the club will have any issue with that. You understand? So it's just normal. But like I said, win the Europa League alongside the Premier League. That's if we win the Premier League. Because all this one we're talking now, if you miss out on the Premier League, talk will change. That's the truth. If you miss out on the Premier League, see Man City top us now. Top will change. Top will not change too. Sure, this Europa League is what we want to win. You understand? So you don't know what may happen. Just like our our, our fan commented on our YouTube session. He said you don't know what may happen, so follow the two with a two double blow. Follow the two up because you don't know what may happen.
Okay, let's look at Aruna Desmond. Aruna Desmond, big ups to you. Aruna Desmond says leave the UEFA Europa League and focus on the English Premier League.
Mhm. You see now. I believe every fan. Okay, today now, for instance, now today, most Arsenal fans do not even know that there's a match today. For Premier League games, Arsenal fans are looking forward to Premier League games. You understand? They're looking forward to Premier League games and stuff. So, although it will also be a shame for us to crash out this early in the Europa League, but trust me, the Europa League is also important too.
I don't see us. I don't
So
see
13
us.
games is much.
I don't see us crashing out at this point. I believe going to the Emirates, we would actually rip Sporting CP apart. But on the long run, I don't know. Though on the long run, I just feel like we need to choose our battles. I remember there was one season where Mourinho had just two things to achieve, just one thing to achieve. He had top four to achieve, and then he just had one thing to achieve: make Europe. And the and top four was proving too difficult. But guess what he did? He chased the Europa League. You understand? He sidelined the Premier League and started playing French players in the Premier League. You remember that season when he came to the Emirates and we defeated.
when we bottled it up against, okay, when we bottled it up, I don't think the players understood Ateta's philosophy, unlike they understood it now. You understand? Then then he was still trying to work up.
Oh, I think Memphis is having a network issue. So like I was saying, I feel like I don't actually feel like the Europa League is that important. I know that most fans will say we need to actually win an European title, but for me, I feel like the Premier League is more important than the Europa League. And we have that? Do we have the depth? We have the players. Most are not fit. Most are not fit, and I feel like we need to focus more on the Premier League. Focus more on winning the Premier League title. Like we need to choose our battles because on the long run, if we focus on the Europa League and focus on the Premier League, and then we stress the squad, stress the players, you will agree with me that most times when we've called upon these other players, let me call them the second 11, they've not actually lived up to the hype. I still remember the PSV game after we considered Ateta needed to bring in some of these players, and today again I felt like watching the game we needed Fabio Vieira. Watching the game, we needed Martin Odegaard because Fabio Vieira at some point could not fill the void Odegaard left. So going forward, this puts a big worry in my heart because to get to a point where you need to play Fabio Vieira on Thursday and play him on Sunday,
God,
you
it will not
understand?
get to that point. Oh. It will not get
It
to
to get
that
to
point.
it's to get to a point where you need to play Odegaard on Thursday and play him on Sunday. It to get to that point.
Seeing Fabio Vieira leading the line tactically in the later part of the second half, I was just smiling. I was like, what is this guy doing?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It to get to a point where you need to play Odegaard Thursday and Sunday. To get to that point, once you pass this stage, is the quarterfinal, you will need to play Odegaard Thursday and Sunday. So to get to that point,
But I think the only team that will trouble us in this Europa League is Manchester United.
and
I
mind
think
you,
that's
and mind, and mind you, April is coming. You know what April is like. You've seen it.
if Europa League will make us no win Premier League, make we come up before April. Honestly, if Europa League will make us no win Premier League, we could come out before April. I don't like wahala. I don't want war. I love peace always. It's a big distraction, but if the boys can focus, they can scale through. You understand? I'm not even confident going into an Europa League final. To be very honest with you, because these boys, most of them have not played this kind of final. Yeah, you win the Premier League, but playing this kind of final is a different spirit. And that time you need everyone the most. When you're under pressure, you just give up on the game. You understand me? You need everyone the most. But hopefully, let's just go bit by bit anyway. But
Are you saying? Are you saying you're not
well,
confident of? You're not confident of winning the Europa? Are you saying you're not confident of going into an Europa League final because of the last final you saw?
our boys are young. Our boys are
Oh,
very young, and when they sometimes it's not like they're not good. We just like the last three games of last season. You're seeing the promised land. You're seeing it. You have the boat. You have everything to drive you to the promised land. You have everything. Because of fear, because of
Yeah.
pressure, you can't enter. You cannot go into the promised land. But that's that's that anyway. And hopefully our boys can show the young mentality and just show superb quality. But it's step by step, according to Arteta, game by game. If we get there, we know how to cross the bridge.
So at this point in the season where we're actually seeing the fatigue, the fatigue is showing. We can actually see that some players are actually getting tired already. How
Okay.
important is it that these other players like Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, like you said, I wouldn't dive in much on Jacob Kiwo, Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, and these players need to pick up. Smith Rowe especially, he needs to pick up actually.
Smith Rowe, I'm not expecting much from him from now till the season ends because believe me, you any game we play from now till the season end will be intensive. Nobody's coming to joke with you. Nobody's coming to smile with you. You
Nobody's going
understand?
to joke with you.
Nobody's coming to joke with you. Even Crystal Palace you will meet next 2 weeks want to come and beat you to gain points, climb up. That's just the truth. And this game you need men really swallow food, not be men really chop spaghetti. You understand? That's why you see that Arteta now has the card. He has 2 cards now. Okay, if it's a physical game, I play party. If it's a game of much more, if it's a game that requires much more technicality, I play JORGINHO. You understand? So I don't see T. Smith coming to do all those his goals he did last season and stuff because this is the business end of the season. I believe that if it had to be the beginning of the season, Sporting will not have played us like this, but we just it. We've been firing up since the beginning of the season and we should be tired. We deserve to be tired. But perseverance and determination is what will make us stand out as champions at the end of the campaign. And
Yeah.
so yeah, just it. Everybody want to beat you. You can see nobody in the world expected that performance from Bournemouth. Everybody want to beat you. Everybody. Everybody. Even Man City want to beat you again. You understand? So even we want to beat ourselves to do best. So it's just it. It's just it. So we have to
Well, it's a
just
good
in short
it's a
the
good
more
thing.
the higher you go, the tougher it gets. You have to win all
Yeah,
games.
yeah. It's a good thing that Gabriel Jesus is actually back. We need, because currently we need that energy going forward, and it's perfect that he's coming in this time where some players are actually getting tired, and he's bringing that much needed energy. He's not just coming as a player. We know what he brings to the team. That press from the front. You understand? That press
Yeah.
from the front is good when you have a player who has a lot of energy in him. The last time he played was back in January. So he's coming in refreshed. And that way, he's bringing the much needed energy. And I believe that going forward, with a player like Gabriel Jesus who is coming back refreshed, he will definitely bring out the best in players like Bukayo Saka and Martinelli again. That connection we saw during the first half of the season, we'll definitely see that connection again. You understand? And if you remember when Gabriel Jesus was
Don't break
playing
down
and
what you're
was
saying.
scoring, when Gabriel Jesus was playing, all the guy was scoring.
In some,
That was how. What do you say? That was how he made the team. That was
in some,
how flew. That was how he made the flow. He connects everything together. Like I feel like Gabriel Jesus is like the glue. You understand? Like the glue to the piece. When he plays, everybody around him plays properly. So I believe that him coming in now, this point in time, is very, 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 very important. In as much as I don't want them to rush him. I will tell you the honest truth. I don't think he should be rushed. You understand? We are not in a bad position. We are not in a bad place where we need to rush a player. Probably give him enough time to get back his fitness, his sharpness, and definitely after the international break, you can introduce the player. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think we have to rush him. You understand? Um, but that particular Fulham game, It's very tricky. It's very tricky. It's very tricky, and the gap is small. Five points gap with 13 games to go, and when you look at your back, it's not Tottenham that is pushing you, it's Man City that is pushing you. You understand? But it's not. It's best he comes back after the international break. It's best he comes back after the international break. No points rushing you. Understand? But I believe that I believe that coming out going to the international break will still be 5 points clear at the top. Every weekend seems a nightmare for us. The pressure is even hard on us than Man City because Man City has nothing to. They've won it twice in a row. They are striving. All they just want to do is just be professional and pursue it while pursuing their dream. But the pressure is even much on us. If you are playing Tottenham again, or if you are playing Crystal Palace, the pressure is much more on us than even Crystal Palace. You understand? Now the thing is, how can they cope with the pressure? How can your manager cope with the pressure as well too? You understand?
Well,
I won't,
I
I
believe.
won't,
Go on, go on.
I won't like a situation whereby Fulham has held us at the balls and we are being forced to bring in Gabriel Jesus. It won't be nice. Because I'm definitely sure that if he's on the bench, except he's not on the bench, he's on the bench and Fulham holds us by the balls, and that I'll be forced to bring him in, which I would not like to see. I'd like to see him fresh and clean after the international break.
But definitely, we just need to have it at the back of our mind that we are going to have a difficult game against Fulham. They are playing beautiful this season. They've been doing a very good job this season. So we need to have it at the back of our mind that going into that game, we have a difficult game. But honestly, I don't
I've
feel
been following
it's
Fulham.
what do you say?
I've been following Fulham. I've been following Fulham for the past 2 games. I've been following Fulham for the past 2 games, and I don't think they are what they are um, compared to their last 8 games. I don't think they are what they are compared to their last 8 games. Really, are not in form as he used to be. I think the only man in form there is Mano Solomon. That guy is capable of just destroying us if we let him running behind consistently. It's the kind of if you it's the kind of player if you give him 5 chances, he may score 2 or 1. He's not going to joke with you. So and we are beginning to give teams that leverage to run behind anyhow. So but Paulinha, they are the midfielder will be missing the game because of suspension, accumulation of yellow cards. Willian is not in form as the last 8 games. I think Fulham are quite slow now, but we should be winning them. We should be winning them. We shouldn't cause us much problems except we want to allow them to inflict problems on us.
All right, all right, all right. Definitely, we'll have that. We'll have that show tomorrow to talk about the Fulham game and all that. We'll have that show tomorrow. But before we end, let's talk more about Fabio Vieira. Fabio
Fabio,
Vieira. You know, I've I've
Fabio
watched
Vera,
I've watched Fabio Vieira on the right wing. I think in some during the in this same Europa League, the group stage. I've watched him on the right wing. I've watched him on the left wing against Wolves, and I've watched him actually in the midfield. I've been impressed with him on the right flank actually. The times I've seen him on that right flank, I've been impressed. In the Europa League group stage, I've been really impressed. The times I've seen him on the left flank, I've been impressed, but I've not really been impressed the times I've seen him in that attacking midfield role. I've not really been impressed, honestly. I've
I
not
won't, I
really
won't
been.
lie to you. I won't lie to you. I've not really been impressed by him totally. I've not been impressed by him totally. He's not a player that I don't think he's a player that can push Odegaard. He's not a player that can push Odegaard. I'm not even talking about his lack of physicality. I'm also talking about him being on the ball. Sometimes he gives away silly unforced errors. Sometimes, well, players are there to develop and improve. Hopefully, he works on his passing. Hopefully, he works on his confidence. Hopefully, he works on keeping the ball. You understand? A player that is not physical is not physical. You cannot force it. If you're not physical, you're not physical. Looking at his body alone is not someone that you expect him to puff up at the gym the next 2 seasons. If you are saying that, we are deceiving ourselves. But you see players like Modric. Although I'm not comparing him to the likes of Modric. You understand?
Modric at
In Real
Chelsea.
Madrid,
Okay, okay,
no,
Modric.
in Real Madrid.
Um,
I'm not comparing him. I won't be stupid to do so. But what I'm
okay.
calling Modric here is, as a player, you know you don't have something. You do something else to complement what you don't have. You understand? Now, now Fabio Vera as a player is not a player that is physical. It's not a player that can go toe to toe with a player. He does not even have speed. Now, when you have the ball, you release the ball immediately. You don't start dressing the ball too much. You release the ball immediately. He has the vision, but sometimes he's so sluggish in using that vision that he has. You understand? That's the issue with Fabio. I believe that if he can always, Ericsson, I see Ericsson and Fabio as
Like
same
for
profile
like.
players.
Mm.
Like for like, Ericsson does not have the speed, he doesn't have the strength, but once he holds the ball, he knows the next person the ball is
Final
going
ball.
to.
Yeah. His
I
final
think
ball is
Fabio Vieira should be that. Thank you. That's same with Fabregas too. I believe Fabio Vieira should be that kind of player. You don't have the physicality, and you're in a team that is very intensive and requires high physicality. So you have to be sharp. You have to be sharp. You understand? Even Odegaard too. Sometimes when he has seen that this game is the tempo is much more high, he tends
yeah.
to act quickly. He tends to act quickly. So Vieira should be able to act quickly. Today he was just being a shadow of himself. And I'm not even happy with him because he knows Sporting quite well. In Arteta's interview, he said he asked Fabio Vieira about Sporting and said Fabio Vieira spoke highly of Sporting. So he should be the one to tell this guy, okay, look, this is how we are going to play this guy. These guys were our rivals when we were in Benfica, stuff like that. So it should improve. So for me, so far, it's not justifying the 40 million. Inside the 40 million, don't play 5 million for us.
So 35 still remain.
At 35, man, I ain't go play till contract expire. Honestly, you can't rival Odegaard, and it's not good because Odegaard that we have is a player that is not physical. So at least even if Odegaard the play pass, at least okay, be physical. But this one you're not physical and you can't keep the ball. So I still miss Casola, honestly. I still
Yeah,
miss Casola.
we've not actually replaced that player. We've not replaced Santi Cazorla, not
Knows
yet.
when knows when to shoot. Vieira does
Not
not even have Vieira does not even have shooting accuracy.
no, he does.
He does
Yeah, he
shooting
does. He does.
shooting
Yeah,
accuracy
yeah, he
because of the goal
does.
he scored at Brentford.
And he actually almost scored one today. He actually does.
He doesn't
He
have he
actually
doesn't
shoots.
have much for a midfielder, attacking midfielder. He doesn't have much. Most of his balls are balloon. Most of his balls. I'm not trying to say it to make you laugh or something. Although, well, even Odegaard struggles with the same thing. He's not consistent in his shooting accuracy. A player like Casola who knows when to shoot with his left, knows when to shoot with his right, knows when to pass. Come on, we haven't replaced Casola. Let's be honest with ourselves. We haven't.
I feel like you know Fabio Vera has time. He still has time to develop.
He's a
He still
young boy
has time.
though. He's a young boy.
He still has time to learn. So obviously, if he doesn't learn quick enough, the usual thing will be done to him. He will be sent on loan, and then from loan he will be sold or he will be released.
When Arsenal send you on loan is like bye bye
Bye
because
bye.
you're on loan and they're giving your number.
So you understand.
You're on loan and they're giving your number out.
So that's it. Are you talking about Nicolas Pepe?
With Nicolas Pepe. It's just normal. They did it to Bellerin. They did it to Torreira. Uh, it's not just Pepe. So, but it
Okay,
should improve. It should improve.
Memphis, thank you for being on the show. Thank you very much for actually being on the show. Thank you so much. And we'll meet again tomorrow to talk about the game between Arsenal and Fulham, the preview show. And to our viewers watching from Facebook or from YouTube, thank you guys for watching. We really do appreciate. We'll meet tomorrow for a preview match for the game between Fulham and Arsenal. We'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
And don't forget to like, share, and
Yeah,
subscribe our
yeah, very,
videos.
very, very, very important. Very important.